Book in 10 minutes. Follow us for more.
The novel 1984 by George Orwell opens with the iconic line, "It was a bright cold day in April, and the clocks were striking 13." This initial sentence sets the tone for the oppressive society in which the novel takes place. The protagonist, Winston Smith, is a middle-aged man who works at the Ministry of Truth, where he rewrites historical records to fit the party's ever-changing version of reality. The society in which Winston lives is controlled by the totalitarian government known as the Party. The Party maintains its control through the use of thought police and telescreens, which monitor citizens' every move and thought. The Party's slogans, such as "War is peace" and "Freedom is slavery," reflect their twisted logic and their complete control over the truth. Winston is initially disillusioned with the Party's control and longs for individuality and freedom. In his private thoughts, he rebels against the Party's propaganda and tries to hold on to his own memories and experiences. He writes in his diary, "Freedom is the freedom to say that 2 + 2 make 4. If that is granted, all else follows." This statement highlights Winston's desire for the freedom to think and speak the truth. The Party's control over language is also evident in the character of Syme, who works with Winston at the Ministry of Truth. Syme is responsible for developing a new edition of the Newspeak dictionary, a language designed to limit the range of thought and eliminate the possibility of dissent. Syme explains to Winston, "Don't you see that the whole aim of Newspeak is to narrow the range of thought? In the end, we shall make thought crime literally impossible, because there will be no words in which to express it." The novel's early chapters also introduce the character of Julia, who works in the fiction department at the Ministry of Truth. Winston is drawn to Julia's independent spirit and her hatred for the Party. They begin a secret love affair and dream of overthrowing the Party together. Winston describes his first encounter with Julia, saying, "She was a bold-looking girl, of about 27, with thick dark hair, a freckled face, and swift, athletic movements. A narrow scarlet sash, emblem of the Junior Anti-Sex League, was wound several times around the waist of her overalls, just tightly enough to bring out the shapeliness of her hips." As the novel progresses, Winston's rebellion against the Party becomes more pronounced, and he becomes increasingly reckless in his actions. However, the thought police eventually catch Winston and Julia and subject them to brutal torture and brainwashing. The novel's opening chapters set the stage for the bleak, oppressive society in which the story takes place and introduce the novel's main characters and themes. The second part of George Orwell's 1984 continues to follow the protagonist, Winston Smith, as he faces the consequences of his rebellion against the totalitarian government, known as the Party. Winston is subjected to brutal torture and brainwashing by the Party's thought police, represented by the character of O'Brien. O'Brien is a member of the Inner Party, the ruling elite of the Party, and represents the absolute power and control of the Party. He is a skilled manipulator who claims to be Winston's ally in his rebellion against the Party. O'Brien explains to Winston, "We shall meet in the place where there is no darkness. There we shall be free." However, O'Brien ultimately betrays Winston, subjecting him to horrific torture and breaking his spirit. As Winston is tortured and brainwashed, he becomes increasingly disconnected from reality. He is forced to confront his deepest fears and betray his own beliefs. The Party seeks to crush Winston's spirit and force him to accept their version of reality. O'Brien tells Winston, "There is no darkness, Winston. The telescreen is the light, and the Party is the truth." Throughout his ordeal, Winston holds on to his love for Julia as a symbol of his rebellion against the Party. However, in the end, Winston is completely broken, and he betrays Julia and confesses his crimes to the Party. He accepts the Party's version of reality and comes to love Big Brother, the Party's leader. The novel ends with the chilling quote, "He loved Big Brother." The novel's final chapters are a harrowing account of Winston's descent into complete submission to the Party. The character of Winston represents the human spirit's desire for freedom and individuality, while the Party represents the all-encompassing power of a totalitarian regime. The novel's themes of the manipulation of language and the control of information are particularly relevant to contemporary discussions about propaganda and censorship. In conclusion, the second part of 1984 continues to explore the oppressive world of the Party and the ultimate defeat of Winston's rebellion. The character of O'Brien represents the party's absolute power and control, while Winston struggled to hold on to his individuality, and love for Julia serves as a powerful symbol of resistance against totalitarianism. The novel's chilling ending underscores the bleak message that, in the face of absolute power, there can be no true freedom. The third part of George Orwell's 1984 takes place after Winston Smith has been broken by the party's thought police and has fully submitted to their control. Winston's mind has been completely reprogrammed, and he has become a model citizen of Oceania, the fictional superstate in which the novel takes place. Winston's transformation is reflected in his job at the Ministry of Love, where he now works as an enthusiastic propagandist. He rewrites historical records to match the party's propaganda and participates in the torture and brainwashing of other party members who have committed thought crimes. Winston is no longer the same person he was before his capture and torture, and his transformation is a testament to the party's complete control over the minds of its citizens. The novel's final chapters depict Winston's final surrender to the party's control. He has abandoned all sense of individuality and freedom and has come to love Big Brother, the party's leader. The novel ends with the haunting line, "He had won the victory over himself." He loved Big Brother. Throughout the novel, the character of Julia serves as a symbol of rebellion and individuality. In the third part of the book, Winston encounters Julia in the streets, and the two briefly acknowledge each other before going their separate ways. However, Winston's encounter with Julia highlights the profound sense of loss and emptiness he feels in his submission to the party's control. He realizes that he has sacrificed his own identity and autonomy for the sake of the party's power and control. The character of O'Brien also makes a brief appearance in the novel's final chapters. Winston encounters O'Brien in a cafe, and the two have a brief conversation in which O'Brien confirms Winston's transformation and his complete submission to the party. O'Brien tells Winston, "You are the last man. Your kind is extinct. We are the inheritors. Do you understand that you are alone? You are outside history, you are non-existent." The novel's final chapters serve as a bleak reminder of the power of totalitarianism and the dangers of the manipulation of language and information. Winston's transformation represents the ultimate defeat of the human spirit in the face of absolute power, and the novel's ending underscores the novel's themes of the manipulation of truth and the loss of individuality in a society controlled by the state. In conclusion, the third part of 1984 depicts Winston's complete submission to the party's control and his final surrender of his own identity and autonomy. The character of Julia serves as a powerful symbol of resistance and individuality, while the character of O'Brien represents the absolute power and control of the party. The novel's ending serves as a chilling reminder of the dangers of totalitarianism and the importance of preserving individual freedom and autonomy. George Orwell's 1984 is a haunting and prophetic novel that continues to resonate with readers today. It is a powerful warning against the dangers of authoritarianism and the importance of defending individual freedom. The novel's vivid portrayal of a dystopian society under the control of a totalitarian government, its exploration of the nature of power and oppression, and its enduring relevance have cemented its place as a classic work of literature. Its themes continue to resonate in modern society, reminding us of the importance of remaining vigilant against threats to individual liberty and the dangers of unchecked government power.
Thanks. Watch our other videos.